Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the CMS Distribution webinar on the future of database for the enterprise in conjunction with EnterpriseDB. My name is Andy Gilbert. I'm Sales Manager here at CMS Distribution. With me is Andrew Miles, our Marketing Manager, and Mark Jones, EnterpriseDB's Principal Sales Engineer for EMEA. Our agenda for the day is, or for today, should be with us on the screen. There we go. So Mark will give us a bit of information on the database market, some details on where it's headed, what that means for partners, and then myself and Andrew Miles will just give you a little bit of information on the sales and marketing support that we can provide you with, and there'll also be some information on an exciting incentive that we've got which will allow you to win a PS4. We'll then move into a Q&A session. So with that, I'll hand over to Mark.
Okay, thank you. Hi everybody. As said, my name is Mark Jones. I work for EnterpriseDB as their Principal Sales Engineer. And I'm here really today to, I hope, enthuse you about the database market, if that's needed, and then also to enthuse you about working with companies such as CMS and EnterpriseDB, who I hope you'll find are a great partnership. So where are we today? Why are we looking at databases? Why is that important? Well, we come from the angle that there's a lot of data out there, and that data has to be stored. And there's a phrase at the bottom of this slide, which is a well-known slide in the database markets, but 90% of the world's data was created in the last 2 years. And on the next slide, just to break that down in a bit more detail, some fantastic stats that really, I hope, will encourage you to realize and invest in the database market. At the very top right, you'll see since the dawn of civilization to the year of 2003, the world would generate 1.8 zettabytes of data. Now, that's a lot of data. But in 2011, it just took us 2 days on average to generate that same amount of data. And there's a whole list of stats there that we can continue talking about, the fact that Facebook has 750 million uploads every 2 days, or an oil drilling platform have 20 to 40,000 sensors all reporting back. And the one that I really find interesting is the US drone aircraft sent back 24 years of video footage in 2009, and that was only ever going to increase. Everyone knows about text messages, etc., around the world that go on all the time. So the point being, there's a lot of data out there. So what should we do with that data? So we look at the database choices. Now, with that amount of data, there's a big talk about big data, and rightly so. The world of big data is around, the Facebooks where we have unstructured data. In other words, we don't know what data type it's going to be. We can't assign a data type to it, but we just know there's a lot of data. There's a vast amount of data types that are coming in, and it's produced very quickly and potentially deleted very quickly as well. The actual complexity comes into this when we're trying to search through that data and make use of it. So big data is a great way of storing data, but there's certain types of data that it's good at storing at, and certain types of data that you certainly wouldn't want to put there. One of the things that you're finding in the database market to do with big data now is the amount of companies that are springing up to actually help you able to see that data. So you have the likes of MongoDB, HBase, Cassandra, all great solutions focusing on the big data market. I'm sure they would agree here that if I had MongoDB people here or Cassandra people, they say they're not niche, but they're growing. But there's a lot of people out there doing the same type of thing. Because there's so much big data out there, there's a lot of companies getting involved in this type of market. That's one choice, and big data is here to stay, but is it really the biggest thing out there? So, the relational database model. A bit boring to talk about maybe, but looking at the stats there, the actual data out there is still stored in relational databases. And as you can see there, at the moment, you're looking at a 33, or for 2013, a $30 billion market, $30 billion. So if we look at 1% of that, if we just went after 1% of that market, we're looking at $300 million. Planned for 2018, or estimated for 2018, a £48 billion market. Now, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Those are just estimates. But you can see that big data is in there. It's there to play. But it's limited in what it's giving the companies for their return. What we're finding in relational databases are people want their data in a nice, secure, and searchable format. They need to be able to deliver statistics. They need to be able to deliver information in a secure way for their internal business as well as their external business. But the fact that there is, as I said, a £30 billion industry out there waiting to be tapped is why I'm here today. Who owns that market? Well, no surprise, Oracle own 48% of that market, and that's a massive share. Now we have other players, we have the IBMs, the Microsofts, etc. But to tap in to that 48% of 30 billion will give any company that wants to join into partnering the incentive to potentially earn a good income from this type of investment. So, what's in store for the enterprise database and the needs of the market out there? So, we'll move on now to where we think the database market is going. We are based upon an open source, so Postgres itself is an open source product. It's been around for over 20 years, as you can see on the diagram in front of you. It started as a product called Ingress, the inauguration of Ingress. It then went to Postgres, so the post-inauguration of Postgres, and then it changed to its final name to PostgreSQL. And it's been around for a long time. It has some functionality that every database should have, so it's fully ACID compliant. It has its multi-version concurrency control. It has recoverability. It has triggers and stored functions, all things that most databases should have out there. Where it really started to take off was when EnterpriseDB could go to the market and say, look, Postgres is strong, Postgres is a good solution, but we need to add something else for customers to be able to take this on board. And so EnterpriseDB came along and offered certain things that helped enterprises make the decision. We will cover that in the next few slides. But at the same time, you see SQL Server on there, you see Infomix, and you can see Ingress is still there as a corporation, finally went on to CA. There is a database missing on there. You can see that Oracle is no longer on there, purely because they have grown exponentially on there, and they are the best product out there as far as databases go. But what I want to do today is convince you how much of a competition we can now be for Oracle. Looking at Postgres itself, it's the most advanced open source database in the world. It's community-led, and we at EDB, EnterpriseDB, actually have two of the founder members of Postgres working for EDB, and we work closely hand in hand with Postgres developers on a day-to-day basis. Postgres itself is at a tipping point. It's taken a while to get to where it is. With any community-led product, there has to be lots of decisions made, and there has to be a drive and a passion to take a product somewhere. And Postgres itself is a very impassioned product. The people who are working on this product really believe in what they're doing, and every decision about the product direction has to be discussed. It now has a proven track record, as you can see there. It's used across the world by massive companies. Governments are also using this product. A big thing that's making people look at Postgres is the staggering cost savings. Now, Postgres itself is a community product. It's open source. And if you go that way, there's nothing wrong with customers going that way. They can go down that way and develop the product further themselves. One of the things that we're finding is as a solution, open source is now one of the biggest things talked about when we go to see customers. Everyone wants to know about an open source solution, just like Red Hat was originally. It was purely open source, and it still is open source, but you can buy additional licenses now to make it more commercially viable. And one of the things that EDB are doing is taking it to the market as this enterprise-ready solution. So, Postgres, as I've said a couple of times, is open source. It has its development cycles. It has thousands of developers. It has advanced features that you'd expect in a database. It has no vendor lock-in, which is a great solution for most customers. And it has very low cost. But if we were going to talk anything about a negative side of open source, is that companies look at it as a risk. If they take on something open source, how do they control it? Well, that's where the inauguration of EnterpriseDB came. We have some real open source gurus working for us. We have some real open source people who worked for Red Hat who really believe in the open source model, but also know about the requirements of an enterprise environment. So EnterpriseDB realized that customers need a 24/7 true support, so follow the sun support. They need servicing, they need training, they need enterprise-wide class features and tools that allow recoverability, that allow automated failover, but again, they need indemnification. Who do we go to when something goes wrong, and how do we get our service level agreement with a customer so that we can deliver a service as expected? Who can we go to look at a true product roadmap? And if we want the product to go in a certain way, how do we go about getting those features into the product? And again, responsiveness and dependability. There's nothing wrong with Postgres Community. It's a very dependable product. But when I wanted to jump through hoops, then I need to know who I can go to get this function or feature into that product. And that's an enterprise-wide requirement that we see on a daily basis from customers. So that's where EDB came into it and said, right, how can we offer that to the commercial world? How can we take this offering to a commercial world? So we could have gone down the route of purely service-driven and just provided a service. But what we decided to do is actually produce a product that, yes, is a payable product, but it allows us to actually help customers to take this product and actually make cost savings through using this product time and time again, as opposed to having to go back to the service company time and time again for them to do the same work. So EDB do provide services, and our partners do provide services. But the fundamental that we have that's a differentiator from any other company out there at the moment is we have our own products that we sell to our customers. A big moving part that happened to us recently is the Magic Database Quadrant was released last year, and EDB, EnterpriseDB, are the only database company out there that are really seen as a competitor to the big four: Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, SAP. We are seen there with our compatibility with Oracle, with our performance and functionality that's built in now, our stability. We can see real potential in our market space purely from this Magic Quadrant. This is a report that's looked at worldwide, and as I say, we are the only real serious competitor in the challenger market for the relational database market. With our Oracle compatibility layer, the 30 billion I spoke about earlier, and Oracle owning 48% of that, they're certainly not off our radar. We go to customers time and time again who have got Oracle, and they want to know about our compatibility features. How do you get from Oracle to Postgres or to EnterpriseDB? How can we save time and effort? How can we save money? How can we get our DBAs, our existing resources, how can we get them trained up to use this product? And as you'll see, there's a couple of things we have. We have a training and certification, so we understand the importance from businesses to adopt a new technology and to get their staff up to speed and certified. We have our consulting services. We use partners around the world. We also have our own consultants that can go on site whenever needed be. We also have our technical support, 24/7 I've mentioned, and we have our community leadership. If you go to our website, EnterpriseDB.com, you'll see that when you do a download, you can download the community version of Postgres. You can even get support off EnterpriseDB for the community version of Postgres. You'll find Postgres events that are run are normally sponsored by EnterpriseDB. They're always potentially organized by one of our employees, Dave Page, who's a prominent member in the Postgres environment. He's normally the one that does most of the organizing. So we really are there with the Postgres community, but more importantly, we are there chipping away at the Oracle footprint. And as far as Oracle compatibility goes, if you're at a customer and they've got Oracle, then you should be talking to them about the EnterpriseDB and getting that product into that area. Where do we fit? Well, if you go into any customer, the Oracle is the big one because they have most of the market. But no database company is off limits. We have compatibility layers there. We have migration paths there. We can look at the current customer solution and we can see if we have a good fit. We're not going to try and fit into a customer where there's no good fit because that would make us not liked at that customer. So one of the best things we do is we do walk away. We're a proud enough company to say we can walk away from a business if we don't think it's going to make that business viable. So no company should be off limits. So get in there, talk to them, and see if we can get anything on the road with them. So that's where we see ourselves. We see data out there. It's not going to stop. We think we have a very good solution to compete with the markets. Now, what does this mean for the partners? Well, in the EMEA region, it's our fastest growing region. We've invested heavily and we've doubled our staff in EMEA. We've doubled our booking, and we've really now changed the focus to working with partners. And we think there's a real a bonus for partners working here. We have an annuity-based sale, so every year you're going to be getting the revenue as opposed to the one-off that you potentially had with Oracle. It allows us to introduce new revenue streams, or for you to introduce new revenue streams into your portfolio. We have some high margins that allow us to deliver better solutions, giving you more of an advantage for your point of sale. We have some growing ecosystems in there that allow us to again go across the whole of EMEA. We have local language support in most countries, and we also have local services in the UK. I personally work out of the UK and cover the whole of EMEA, but I'm certainly here on a bi-weekly basis for any customer meetings that you need me to go into. All I can say is this is the year for EnterpriseDB. We've invested heavily, as I said already, in EMEA, and we are ready to rock with our customers. So if you can take on board the EnterpriseDB message, get us inside to the customer, and we will come and do the work with you to make sure the sale is successful. What's in it for you as far as the software business model goes? As you can see, what the open source and the open source Postgres Plus goes, where you pay, so the license fee for Oracle is per core. We're not per core, we're per socket. So that straight away gets customers interested. If you now think about a 64-core socket, that makes Oracle salespeople very happy. We have one socket, so you pay one socket license. The maintenance, we are per socket as well. Repricing, penalty for maintenance reduction, no, we don't have any of that. If you want to reduce, then you don't get a penalty. We have, what's the word I was going to say there? Sorry about that. We have changes afoot for our pricing model. That hasn't been decided, it hasn't been agreed, but it will potentially change in the near future or the far future. But at the moment, we don't see any impact with customers. and it shouldn't impact on your revenue stream investment. If anything, it should make it better. But you can see from the list there, the only thing that we are strong. Well, not the only thing we are strong in. You can see we are strong in all areas. But what we are strong in ourselves as a group is we have control over our product feature roadmap. And what's good about that is Postgres open source is fantastic, but ours allow us to work with customers. So if you go to a customer and they say, we can't go with this product because it doesn't do this, then let's talk. Let's see how big the customer is, and let's see how much investment we need to make to get the product to do what they want it to do. Okay, again, you're going to customers, show them the huge cost savings. Again, this is a slide that talks about Oracle and how potentially expensive they can be, and this is pre-discount. But what you'll see is what you get with EnterpriseDB is a lot of the things you already have to pay for with Oracle. So, for example, data guard, partitioning, spatial, diagnostics. These are all included with the EnterpriseDB products. So your win is with Oracle. There's a lot of pay. With Postgres and EnterpriseDB, there's a lot of savings, not a lot of pay, a lot of savings. So look at the socket count at the bottom. Potentially you could be paying £403,000 or dollars a year with Oracle, and your customers could be paying $19,000 a year with EDB. So any customer you knock on their door, you should be putting these figures in front of them to show them the potential cost of sale. Oh, sorry, savings. Okay, over to you, Andy.
Great, thank you, Mark. I hope everyone found that interesting and informative, and I hope that everyone can see that this is a great opportunity, and with the new resources that EnterpriseDB have in place, that it's a great time to be partnering with them in the UK. So now, just to give you a little bit of information about CMS Distribution and how we can support you on the sales and marketing. First of all, for anybody who's not aware, we were previously Interactive Ideas. We were acquired by CMS Distribution in November last year and went live trading as CMS from 1st of January this year. Our Enfield office is sort of the base for our enterprise software. So we've still got the same account management team here. So we've got experienced account managers and sales support who over the last large number of years really have specialised on enterprise open source and the open source subscription model. So any questions that you have around the model itself, around open source, we can certainly help you with. We have a dedicated marketing team to support our resellers on end-user lead generation, and we actually have a specific EnterpriseDB campaign available, which our marketing manager will run through with you now. So over to Andrew Morse.
Thank you. So at CMS, we have, as Andy said, a highly skilled in-house marketing team with individuals specialised in end-user demand generation, and they've created a marketing campaign which you'll see some of the elements of in front of you, specifically for EnterpriseDB. So this is now available for our partners to use, either through your own marketing platform, or we can manage the campaign through ours and reports all click-throughs and such back to you. The campaign is based around the offering of EnterpriseDB's Postgres Plus Advanced Server as a cost-saving alternative to Oracle. The campaign contains 3 emails with different messaging. One, which introduces Postgres Plus Advanced Server and EnterpriseDB's Oracle cost containment strategy. The second is on the cost-cutting and technical benefits of offloading reporting data to Postgres Plus Advanced Server if your customers can't completely replace Oracle at first. And the third is based around cutting your customers' Oracle database costs by up to 80% by migrating completely. There is a central landing page for all of the emails that contain a video on migrating from Oracle to Postgres Plus Advanced Server, details around Postgres Plus Oracle Compatibility, links to a TCO calculator, a datasheet, and a customer case study. There is also a link to an FAQ that's been specially created for EnterpriseDB's Oracle cost containment strategies. All of these materials can be rebranded for you by our team. And as before, as before said, you can use our marketing platform here or your own to send the emails out and host the landing pages and materials. So pretty much everything is possible from through our team. The team here can provide a wide variety of additional services related to this EnterpriseDB campaign, as well as for other vendors, such as event organizing, video production, and data profiling, just to mention a few. Please do get in contact with me directly to find out how we can help you with getting this campaign out. For some extra incentive for you and your team, from now until the 30th of April, we're running a CMS Distribution exclusive, the EnterpriseDB New Business Challenge, that could win you a PlayStation 4. To get involved, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is engage with your customers to discover new opportunities for EnterpriseDB, engage with your CMS account manager on the opportunities found, quote your customers £5,000 or more of new business, and update your account manager on deal as it progresses. This quote will then be logged in our systems, and every 5K plus of new EnterpriseDB business quoted until the 30th of April will get an entry into a prize draw to win a PS4. The winner from this draw will be announced on the 5th of May. So if you can contact your account manager or I to discuss this further, I would encourage you to also get in touch regarding the end user materials. That way you can generate the leads yourself to assist with this challenge. In the follow-up to this webinar, you will receive links to details on the New Business Challenge, along with the presentation slides, a recording of the webinar, and a quick reference guide that's been specially created to EnterpriseDB's Oracle Cost Containment Strategies. With that, we can go straight through to any questions that we may have on the system. I'd say if you have any questions at this point, please feel free to ask. If you just tap those into the questions panel, we'll give it a minute or so, just in case we do get in. We don't appear to have any so far.
And just to say, our contact details are there on the screen for you in case you don't have any of them. If you've got questions today, then great. But otherwise, you can, of course, contact us directly or your account manager for any information, whether it's about the product, whether it's about business development or the promotion. We are here and happy to help with whatever you need. And there are no questions so far, so I assume you're all very, very well informed from the webinar. Give it another few seconds, but otherwise we will leave it there.
As said, you'll get the recording and the slides in the follow-up, along with details of the incentive and the quick reference guide to the EnterpriseDB's Oracle Cost Containment Strategy, which you should find useful.
Great. Okay, well, no questions. So once again, thank you for joining us today. I hope you've all found it useful and informative, and we very much look forward to hearing from you.